I took a little break from social media this weekend. I didn't go on, I didn't look at anything. Sometimes you just need a break. But last night as I was scrolling before bed, this was the first thing that I saw in my query of, hey, what has gone on in the past couple days? I'll show you, and I'm sorry.
And as I said yesterday, the Seinfeld summer from Mark Carney, a big show about nothing. You know, I think specifically about George Costanza. You remember George Costanza? He was a legend. George Costanza had this great episode where he had this fancy, high-paying job with a corner office. And he didn't do any work, like literally none, but he wanted to look busy. So he would storm up and down the hallways carrying file folders. He would leave the lights on in his car in front of the office building on the weekend, even though he wasn't there. He would yell into the phone, even though no one was on the other end of the line. And they kept paying him because he looked so busy. I have to admit, Mark Carney has looked really busy this summer. He's been flying off to Europe to sign declarations of intent that actually mean absolutely nothing. He's been holding roundtables with other politicians. You've seen politicians patting each other on the back, congratulating themselves on all the excellent meetings they've been holding. There have been letters written to ministers that then get leaked to media and are reported with great fanfare on front pages everywhere. My goodness, he's almost as busy and as useless as George Costanza. It has been a big show about nothing.
My dude, that's you. Your whole political career is a show about nothing. First off, could you have found a more dated reference? Way to bring in the youth. And it bothers me that I know the reference. And as he was talking, I went through every single episode that I've ever watched, regardless of how problematic they were. But Pierre just described himself. Also, if you're going to use the reference, get it right. It wasn't the summer of Seinfeld. It was the summer of George. He didn't leave the lights on in his car because then his battery would have died. He just left his car at work. Sorry. I'm a stickler for facts. Unlike Pierre George Poilievre. Because if we think about the whole cast of characters, the PMs, whether it was Trudeau or Carney, they're Jerry. Pierre is obviously George, a dim-witted bald man. Well, Pierre has his hair for now. But George always wanted to be Jerry, was always 5 steps behind. He was never gonna be Jerry, no matter how hard he tried. Oh, but he kept trying. Remember when George got in the car with the Yahtzees? Because he was trying to pretend to be somebody he wasn't? God, I hate that I know these references. I'm gonna say Elizabeth Maiselaine. She's funny, she works hard, can be a little sharp at times. Blanchette, he's gotta be Frank Costanza. Loud, defends what's his, has his own holidays that nobody else has. And since Don Davies is the interim NDP leader, I'm going to say he's Jay Peterman. He's in the position. I just don't know what he does yet. And if Michelle Ferreri still had a seat, she'd be Newman. I hate myself. But to sit there and say that Carney has just been making himself look busy, when that is all you have done your entire career, Pierre. Like insight, out the window. A million other things you could have said. A million other things. Why you went with a Seinfeld reference? Oh, wait. The bottom line, Pierre, you're never going to be Jerry. You can be close to Jerry, but you're never going to be Jerry. And of all the characters, I mean, George is the least likable. Did he add value to the plot? He had some funny moments, I guess. Shrinkage. Like your popularity when you lost your seat and had to run to Alberta. But here's some advice for the Conservative Party of Canada. I'd be careful with George, because if you keep him, your whole party could end up like Susan. Just licking envelopes till you die. How did we in 2025 get to referencing Seinfeld? Good luck with your shrinkage, Pierre.